Hello and welcome back to the channel, where we are going to now push on with the Golf work that we've already introduced you to in an earlier video. So everything in the workshop's moved around a bit. We've got access to the ramp and we can actually show, I mean we have shown this, but it's a lovely, lovely car, and the reason it's on the ramp is you can get a better view of it now, Lou. We've got this corrosion coming through on the inside of the leg up at the back here. So what we need to do, unfortunately, because this isn't really what we do, we need to get this all propped up and remove the rear beam axle. And we don't really get involved with mechanical works, but it's straightforward enough dropping this down. So I'm undecided yet as to whether or not we're just going to drop it down and leave it hanging on the damper, or if we are going to have to actually disconnect handbrake cables and drop it completely down and away from the vehicle. That rear brake flex hose looks a little bit crispy, so I've got a feeling we're probably going to end up taking out the whole thing. But that's where we're at, that's where we're going. We will now push forward, and I'd imagine our good friend GoPro will take over much of this so that Lou can carry on prepping up a Triumph Stag. So I'll go get the GoPro and we'll get going. Well, that was nice and easy, but I do know that the GoPro battery went flat halfway through that, so I don't know how much of that you saw, but beam axle, piece of cake, drop that out. So we have now just got in here, Lou, this section in here. So I'm going to clean this back with a belt sander, get rid of all of this, and you can see where it's double skinned. And you've got this reinforcing plate in here, which the studs are mounted to. So that'll be a hard section in the side there for the beam axle to mount to. So we'll clean it all back. We're going to cut this out, oversized, make sure that is all good in there, and then replace it. Customer has supplied for us a complete panel to go in here, but I think that's going to be a huge amount of work with no gain, because the rest of it's all good. Not quite sure what's happened. Possibly it's had a brake fluid leak in the past, which has taken off the protective coating, which has allowed that to corrode in time because the flex hose comes through here. But bit of an odd area for that to go when the rest of it is so good. I mean, the other side over here, can't really see in the light, I'd imagine, but it's like new up in there. So we'll make sure that the other side looks just as good, get this all back together again, and then we move on to doing the body. All cleaned back, and the inner structure is actually really good. There's a bit of surface oxidization on there where it's been exposed for a while, so we'll clean that back a bit further with a wire wheel. We'll put a little bit of acid wash on there, I think, and that can do its job overnight. Then weld through zinc primer, we've got a repair section into there and ground back, clean up this back quarter or inner quarter leg, get it all painted up with some Cobra, and then onto the body. All cleaned back and treated now, some zinc weld through primer, repair section made up. Let's get it stitched in. Wait for that. Yep, all done. The repair's gone in. It's gone in pretty nice. So we're just going to get that epoxy coated, sealed up, and a nice bit of black underbody protect, and get the back axle back in there.
Go for it. Right, so now that the structural repairs are done on the Golf, we're going to move on to some of the bodywork. And as you would have seen, Bo's been busy bare metaling the bonnet. The bonnet had a couple of little blisters and some paint lifting off of it. So, as I say, we bare metaled it, and we've now got it into Novol's hybrid anti-corrosion epoxy, which is great stuff. So yeah, should just crack on with the leveling. This epoxy actually highlights the highs and lows really well. So as you can see, there's some filler work to do on this. It's probably the worst part of the car actually. The rest of the car's pretty straight, a couple of dents here and there, a couple of chips, hence why we're doing the full paint job on it. But yeah, we're going to crack on, get on with some levelling work and go from here. Okay, so I just wanted to touch on quickly some of the more fragile parts of the cars. Say these chrome trims around the windows here, they're extremely fragile, and when you're sort of taking them off, they are susceptible to bending, and once they're bent, they're quite hard to get back into shape. So it's a case of really gently just prying them off bit by bit, just almost basically until they fall off. And obviously when they're off the car, like this one, you got to go through the trouble of storing it. So, I mean, this is something that I've made up earlier. This was the offside front door that I've taken apart, and I've literally just put them on a big flat bit of sort of cardboard. I think this is literally plywood actually. So big flat bit of wood. I know that's not going to bend. I've got another door's worth underneath it there, near side front, and I will literally patch over this one, put the rear doors over the top, and yeah, it should be safe for storage. So we'll get that done, stick it upstairs. I just wanted to touch on something that we haven't really talked about before. So there you go. It's always worth storing your parts well to keep them from being damaged and to keep them looking good. Okay, so that's the Golf all stripped down. It all came apart really nice and easy. Love working on these little cars. So yeah, we're well into the blocking now. I've gone down the whole side of the car just to highlight some of the highs and lows. When it came in, it was really straight, and it was only in for a couple of little defects, a couple of dents, a little bit of blistering, a chip here and there. But as I'm running a block down it, you can really see how, well, some points are high and low basically. A couple of little car part dents highlighting up that we didn't see previously, but they're so small that, as I say, without a block, it's hard to tell that they're really there. But it does make a massive difference to the final product. So yeah, running a block all the way down the side of the car. The door gaps on this were really nice originally, so nice transitional blocking all the way through the side of the car, from the doors to the wings, through the doors, should make for a lovely transitional mirror finish by the end of it. So yeah, I'm going to go around, block the rest of the car, do a little bit of filler work here and there, and head towards primer. Okay, so the GoPros would have shown you that all the levelling work is done now. I'm about halfway through 320 DA in the car, ready for primer, and we're sort of heading towards colour. We're sort of talking about what colour should it go, because when it came in, we noticed that as we were stripping it, there is two different shades of red here, as you can see. So the inside red is the original red, and the outside red is what it was painted a decade or two potentially ago. And this is this colour basically because the car had a full repaint, and the previous garage that did it couldn't find the original colour. So considering it was a full repaint, painted it all one colour, as close to the original colour as they could get. So we've got the task of, well, do we paint it original or do we paint it the colour it was? So talking back to the customer, they've sort of decided that actually we're going to go for the colour that it is currently, instead of the original colour, because this was their dad's car and they would basically like for it not to change. So we're going to go ahead and paint it this one, which is the colour it came in as, and yeah, should look really nice, straight and shiny. So yeah, heading on towards primer, get it in the booth soon and start masking out. So now we've got the Golf into primer. This is a P2 primer, so it's quite a light primer, which we kind of half weren't expecting for this colour because it's a darker colour, but we do as the system tells us to do, so here it is. We've masked out the shuts accordingly. We're not painting into the shuts, so Bo's been really busy putting loads of tape into the shuts. No primer's got into there, which is great. So yeah, I'll be getting on blocking while Bo finishes off the bonnet and boot lid, ready to go into primer. So yeah, going to crack on, hand over to the GoPro, and yeah, enjoy some time blocking down a Mark 1 Golf. Okay, so I just, as you've seen in the GoPro footage, I've just gone down the side of the car with real ease actually, because the primer that we use and the way we lay it just makes it really nice and easy to just block, effortless basically. So I thought I'd just give you a quick demonstration on what we use and why we use it. We use Novol for Classic Cars 35500 primer, which is nice and thick and it cuts really well. Some of the properties in the primer allow it to flow nicely, cut well with a 320, and the gun that we use as well plays a massive part in how the primer lays and at the end of it how it cuts as well. So we use the WSP Iwata gun. I'll overlay a picture of both the products and the gun, and just the combination of the two makes the work effortless. So I thought I'd just show you quickly. If we sit a little bit up of the primer up here, and as we start blocking, you'll be able to tell the highs and lows aren't drastic, they're not huge. So a tiny bit of blocking, you've got a tiny bit of texture in this, but instantly, because the highs and lows are so small, because of the properties of the primer and the way that the gun lays. As I say, I've used this word a lot, but it is just effortless. And that section there is just done. So it really doesn't take a lot, and the combination of the two allows us to block the car really quickly. So basically, for any body shop, I'd recommend you get yourself a really good primer gun, because a lot of places will say, well, you know, it's primer, we're going to block it down anyway. So they'll just bosh it on and go to town blocking it. But if you can eliminate the time spent blocking, then you've got more time to make sure things are correct. So yeah, nice little demonstration there, just to show you something about the product, our tools, and the way we do things around here. Okay, so for paint, we use a two-step degreasing process. We use solvent degreaser and a water degreaser. We use both of these because they basically each eliminate different contaminants. So we'll go ahead and use the solvent degreaser first, which eliminates oils, grease, anything that you find in the workshop basically that could be contaminating the car. So we'll do one wipe over with that, and then a dry wipe to stop any sort of leftover residue from the degreaser. And then we'll go ahead and use a water degreaser, which eliminates any sort of ionic compounds, which is essentially static charge. And as well, you know, a static draws things to it. So in theory, it should draw less contaminants, dust, etc., to the car in the booth. So actually really smart stuff. And it also eliminates salt from your hands. As you can see, masking out anything like that, you get sort of little fingerprint marks. I mean, it won't show up as well with my glove, but yeah, eliminate any sort of salt from your skin, and yeah, leave us with a bone dry, completely clean, 100% effective panel ready to put on our solvent base coats with. Yeah, eliminates reactions and gets a nice clean finish. Okay, so we've got the Golf out now, the booth, all unmasked, got bow on, refitting it, we've already got the lights in, yeah, moving forward. The finish on this, I must say, is actually really come out very nice. Definitely better than factory finish, just purely from the gun as well. And the anti-static degreaser, water degreaser, definitely helps a lot because, I mean, the whole thing is pretty well mint. There's a couple of D-nibs here and there, can't help that. But the worst thing about it, to be honest, is a little tiny run. Well, it's more of a sag than a run. Overlay some footage now, just on the rear pillar here. But we'll go through with you guys and flatten and polish that out, just to see how we, just to show you guys how we deal with runs. Yeah, I've got to say, this sag is purely because I was so close to the limit. A little bit too perfect, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, the finish around here is lovely. Just shame about that. So yeah, gonna get going with building it up. Show you the flatten and polishing when we come around to it. But soon enough, we'll get the panels into colour, get the body assembled, everything fitted up, and yeah, shiny new Mark 1 Golf ready to go out the door. Okay, so we're going to go and attack this. I'd say run, but it's more of a sag. Looking through here, I don't know how well it will actually come out on camera. But there is just a slight build-up of lacquer going through there. So we're going to go ahead and try and get that out. We're going to use a 1500 on the little Kovacs block that we love using. It's a method of dry sanding, so keeping the block clean and just going at it until it's gone, basically. And I say it every time, but it is very, very, very similar to blocking a panel in primer or filler work or something like that. It really just highlights the highs and lows. And instantly, just with a few passes, you can see straight through here how prominent that sag actually is. So we're going to go ahead and block that out, just like this. Polish it back up, and it should look like there was nothing there. So there you go. I'm happy that that's blocked out quite nicely with the 1500 block. We're going to go ahead now, and because it's a larger area, well, as I say, for smaller areas, I'll usually flip the block over. We've got a 3000 on this side. So just to refine the 1500 marks, in the same way you would, 500 DA after a 320 DA for primer to put colour onto, it's just refining those scratches. So yeah, we would usually 3000 refine the 1500 marks, but because this is a larger area, I'm going to go ahead and use the DA. So we've got a 3000 pad on the DA, and this is a wet sand process. So just lightly moisten the pad and go over the 1500 marks just to refine them. Always keeping away from edges, nice and light, keeping the DA slow. And just like that, it's refined, ready to polish up. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to polish this up now. Going to stick a bit of tape right on the edge there because we don't want any burn throughs. Doesn't need much. And we're going to go ahead and use the Cartec Diamond Cut 3000 with the allocated colour-coded pad on the big mop. It's great stuff, this. Just shines, easy to use. A few dollops will do it. Where's that? All that. Spread that one around a bit. Right. We're going 1600 RPM on the mop, and nice and slow sort of passes just to refine it. Hopefully, just like that, with a quick wipe, as if by magic, nice and polished, run is gone, Easy peasy. Okay, so here we are, finished with the Mark 1 Golf CL, which in itself is quite a rare car. Must say it looks lovely, as I say with every finished video that we do, but this one specifically has come out very, very nice. It looks like a brand new car. Saying that, it doesn't look totally different to when it came in, because when it came in, it was a very nice car. It had some issues with the paint on the bonnet, a previous repair around the fuel cap, couple of little chips, couple of little dinks and dents here and there. But between Keith and the owner, they sort of considered repainting the whole lot just as a uniform colour, instead of, you know, painting a part of the car, blending into the next, and then, you know, after all that faff, you'd end up with a door or something like that that hasn't been painted. So, you know, nice uniform coat of colour just to finish it off. But yeah, it looks stunning, stunning outside. And this car will be going back up to Scotland to the owner very soon. And the owner will be sending back to us a BMW E3. So you should hopefully see a video on that one in the near future. As I say, real pleasure working on this car. It comes apart nicely, goes back together really nicely. Always a joy working on 80s classics. So yeah, if you like the video, please hit like. Any constructive criticism or feedback, please leave it down below in the comments, and subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you very, very soon.